Good morning. This is your 8:15 daily operations weather briefing. Seeing sunny conditions out there to start the day today. In addition, seeing once again cold and quite windy conditions. We are currently in a wind advisory and will likely remain in that wind advisory as we move through the working hours and into the first part of the evening today. And continuing to expect cold conditions as we move through the day into the end of the week. Take a look at the current surface analysis, still seeing that tight pressure gradient over the region. It's going to keep things breezy as we move through the day today. As we move into Friday, this area of high pressure will briefly build in over the region. That's going to allow those winds to lighten up a bit and give us a break from the wind advisories. And this little area of disturbed weather out here in the southern part of the country, that's going to gradually track along the Gulf Coast and up the East Coast. And that's going to bring that next area of low pressure. It's going to bring possible snow as we go overnight Friday into Saturday. Looking at current conditions this morning, just a few clouds around 3,500 feet with those bay streamers there. Seeing winds out of the northwest, 14 knots, gusting up to 26 knots. Temperature 23 degrees and relative humidity is 55%. Taking a look at the local visible satellite as the sun rises here, still seeing that snow cover mainly north of the Wallops area, but otherwise clear skies across the area, and that should remain the case as we move through the day today. If we take a look at the high-res NAM model here, zoomed out and look at the bigger picture, we'll see, as mentioned, that area of high pressure will slowly build into our region as we move into Friday, but not before we see this tight pressure gradient remaining over, keeping things breezy, but we will see dry conditions and some chilly conditions once again today. We'll be fairly chilly as we get into tomorrow as well. Below average still, but not as much in the way of wind. We'll start off slightly breezy and then see those winds decreasing as the clouds start to increase ahead of this next system approaching the area. At this time, expect precip to hold off till we get past the midnight time frame Friday night, and looks like we'll see light snow moving into the area as we move through the early morning hours of Saturday. We see that on the model here, pretty close to that rain snow line, so overall should see light snow, maybe a very slight chance of maybe a moderate shower in there. Overall maybe up to a couple of inches expected with this, and then we'll see as we get into the start of the day Saturday, we could see some rain mixing in, and then that precip should start to taper off fairly quickly, likely ending by or just after 10 a.m. in the morning on Saturday. And behind that, we'll start to see those clouds breaking, and we'll see once again some breezy conditions for the second part of the day on Saturday as that low pressure tracks away. But we'll see a drying out and clearing skies as we move into the second half of Saturday. So if we look at the 24-hour weather risk chart for today, we'll see red conditions for our winds at or above 25 knots through the daytime hours and into the first part of the evening. I do expect those winds out of the northwest peaking around 15 to 20 sustained, gusting up to 35 knots. So again, that red risk holds through the day and into the evening. We'll slowly start to see those peak winds coming down, eventually starting our Friday northwest 8 to 13, gusting up to 19. So we'll be back to green conditions, but still slightly breezy. We do have an orange risk for those wind chill values, currently sitting right around 10 degrees at this time. We do expect those to start to come up a bit to green as we get into the afternoon, and then we'll start to see once again those wind chill values dipping down towards and at or below 10 degrees as we move through the early morning hours of Friday. Our actual high temperature for today will be 32 degrees, and going into our actual low for tomorrow morning will be around 20 degrees. And overall clear skies expected through today. We'll start to see some high clouds creeping into the area as we get into the start of the day on Friday. Tides running about a half a foot below normal at this time, and Friday we'll see a quieter day for our winds with just slightly breezy conditions early on with partly cloudy conditions, and then winds will decrease as the clouds increase moving through the day, mainly high clouds around the area. We'll see our high temperature get above freezing with a high of 36 degrees. Green conditions for our weather risk. Friday evening, we will see cloudy conditions to start the evening, and then that light snow becoming likely as we get past the midnight time frame. Again, slight chance of any moderate snow in there. Overall should be fairly light, and expecting snow accumulations maybe 1 to 2 inches at this time, and our low temperature will be around 28 degrees. So we do have that red risk for that precip with that light snow moving in, and we'll see some low ceilings with that activity, so an orange risk for that threat as well. Saturday, we'll see possibly some lingering light snow, possibly mixing with some light rain for the first hour or two, and cloudy. And then again, that precip should start to taper off fairly quickly, and we'll see those clouds starting to break. Not expecting much additional accumulation for the first couple hours of Saturday. So really overall just expecting most likely around 1 to 2 inches of snow accumulation at this time. We'll see things becoming breezy as that area of low pressure starts to pull away, and we see those clouds starting to decrease. And eventually by later in the evening or later in the afternoon, we'll see partly cloudy conditions. Our high temperature will be 37 degrees. We'll see orange risk for that precip threat, orange for those elevated winds above 25 knots through the afternoon, and an orange risk for those reduced ceilings mainly during the first couple hours of the day. That's going to wrap up the 8:15 daily operations weather briefing. We'll be back again at 10 a.m. to take a look at the extended forecast. Enjoy your morning.